Hello. Yeah, I drive a Harley 48, and one of the iconic things about the Harley 48 is the peanut gas tank. So one of the problems with that is that you can't go very far before you have to go to the next gas station, fill up again. So I thought, well, let's bring some fuel along with us. And so I did is converted this old Pyrene Fire Extinguisher into a gas tank that a spare gas bottle I can dump into the fuel tank if I needed to. It's a quart, and if you're interested in seeing how I did it or get some ideas for yourself, follow along. So what we got here is a Pyrene Fire Extinguisher that I thought would be really good on my motorcycle as a backup fuel canister. And so what I did here is just took my torch and heated up the top till it came off. This one kind of looks a little bit like this one over here. This one's newer, a little different design. I wasn't really as pleased with the patina on that one versus this one. I think it's a little older. So I took this off. If you're ever curious what's inside one of these Pyrene fire extinguishers, let's see. I apologize for the video footage here. It's just with my phone. Not really. So it looks like there's a tube. Goes down the center of the internals. And that must connect to the end of the nozzle here. And then the pump mechanism. That has a pickup tube area here. Or maybe here, I don't know how I'm not sure. But as you pump this thing, it'll suck the fluid from this area of the can and blow it out the center of this pump down through this little tube and out the nozzle. So if this is airtight, you need, back over here actually, this little cap. Whoops, it won't focus here. Which I've destroyed the seal on here because I want to put an O-ring in there. It appeared to have like some sort of lead ring. I started ripping that apart because like I said, I want to put a O-ring in there for gas. But let's see if I can do this one-handed. Probably not. Well, anyways, there's basically a little vacuum breaker, if you will, here, so that it's spring loaded. So as you pump the fluid out, it allows air in through these little tiny holes on either side of this thing. Oh, come on. There you go. And that air will come back out the center here to display, replace all the fluid that you just pumped out. For my case, I'm putting this on a motorcycle. I don't need the pump action at all. I'm just going to remove the cap and dump the fuel into my tank when I need it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this somewhere up here. Get rid of all this. Solder it all up nice and tight up here. Solder this down here. I might leave the tube in there. It doesn't really need to come out. I don't really want to put a lot of heat down here anyways. Well, to desolder it from the tip. I might just put enough heat just to plug that hole up with some solder. And then solder it all back together. And then use it on the motorcycle as a spare fuel tank. I might redo the sorry about the mess. I might redo the relief valve so that it doesn't build pressure up or something in the heat of the sun. I'll figure out what I want to do there. But that did come with this little holder that I might modify a little bit to put on the bike and put the fire extinguisher on the motorcycle. We'll see how it goes. I don't know, check back with you guys after I get it together. So we'll see how this goes. I've got some flux here. Where's the camera? Just regular flux. And some solder, silver solder. I'm going to try to solder that hole up right there. And I've got some flux in there right now. We'll see if we can get this thing hot enough. It'll take some solder and plug the gap. It kind of looks like a big glob of solder, but probably is good enough. So after a little struggle, so we got that end soldered up nice, and currently I have a valve stem in here, about 30 pounds of pressure inside here. And I've got soapy water on here, just looking for leaks. So far, I think it's holding pretty well. Minus the fact the valve stem is just kind of screwed in there, the rubber against the bottle. Sorry, kind of brain fart there for a bit. But anyways, yeah. So pretty pleased. I gotta do a little cleanup on all the flux that ran all over the place, but I think it's gonna be pretty good. It's kind of got that orangey burnt copper look up here, or I'm not sure what the right term is because of the heat, kind of heat affected zone, but I kind of like it because it's transitions down. And I got a little bit down here too. I think it's a mix of the heat along with the flux is an acid as well. So here I got a bubble. That's I think it's just coming from the valve stem.
These babies can go on. Now, you see what I mean? Now, I did that just to show you what can happen. That'll be all, men. 10-4.
You see I had air in there. I don't know where the valve stem went. Guess you gotta wear safety glasses around these things, but I don't think any damage was done. That kind of scared me. I should have known better, but whatever. I think it's pretty good. Now, next step is I'm going to put the cap back on here with some muriatic acid or hydrochloric acid and some BBs and just kind of clean the inside out because I don't want all that junk in there with the gas going in my motorcycle. So that's what I intend to do next. For those wondering what the valve stem looked like, I just took the valve stem, cut this end down. It's very pliable. I was able to find it after it popped out. Anyways, it did a good job being a one-way valve to pressure test this thing. I'm pretty happy with it. I got the cap on here. I did find an O-ring that fit it. And like I said, I got BBs in here. And muriatic acid. And I'm just going to shake it to clean it. Just so I don't have anything nasty going in my gas from the inside of the bottle. And then I'll maybe take some baking soda and water and run it through there just to neutralize any acid, and then probably a little acetone in there to clean that all out, and then let it air out and clean the outside up and go from there. For those who are wondering about how it might pour out of this thing, I kind of was wondering myself. And I got it filled with water now. I've got it cleaned out pretty good. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's enough for now. So let me get this off here. I'm going to have to make a cap retainer somehow, but that's for future me to figure out. And then, like, let's see. Get this over the tank, maybe. Oh, yeah, that's not going to work too well. How about if I went directly? Yeah, it's going to make a mess. Now, if I get it all the way over, it'll go okay, but it's going to be a mess. So, I'll need to make an adapter and screw it in. That's probably how I'll have to do it. So I wasn't really pleased with how the bottle was emptying. It was doing a lot of glugging. So I thought, well, you know what? Maybe I'll make a nozzle. So I bought this nozzle for like a Harley carburetor or whatever. But it's got the 9/16 by 24 thread, which we determined, me with the help of a coworker determined that it was 9/16 24. So I got brass fitting. I bought this copper tubing. I don't know what the OD of this is, but it's real small. The idea here is that I'm gonna set this. I'm gonna solder it in like that, so that air can go in through the tube and the gas can come out through the nozzle, so that hopefully it doesn't glug. It's worth a try. If worse comes to worse, I can attach a little rubber hose to the end of this and stuff it down the tank a little further. But I'm going to try it here first. So what I did is cut some pieces of silver solder. I'm going to lay it down along the side of each side of the tube with some flux. Heat that thing up until everything solders together. And then let it cool, and then I'll try it out. And I'll let you know how it goes. And so I just finished soldering it. And it is going to cool, but I think to get it cleaned up, I should be able to trim it and give it a try. So this is what I ended up with. And I took an O-ring, applied it here. After I soldered this tube in here, so there's this little tiny tube going through. The idea here is that as long as this point here is higher than this point here, the head pressure will be greater here than here, and gas will go down through here, and air will come up through here. So therefore, we shouldn't be vapor locked. So it won't glug, hopefully. We'll try it out here. So what I did is I filled this up. Well, obviously not all the way because it's on side, but fair amount here with acetone because I'm cleaning this all out. And I'm going to just hand screw this in here. So, well, if I can do this. And we will see how it works. I have a little, my molasses container that I've marked acetone because I have a brush in there and I use it to clean things. So anyways, we'll see how this goes. It glugs a little bit, but it's a pretty steady stream. Oh, much better. think I'm happy with it. So I'll just carry that in the bag on the motorcycle, and if I need to get gas out of here, I will just pop out my plug, and I still need to put a little retainer on here somewhere. I'll unscrew this, put this in, be able to pour it into my tank without making a mess, and go to the gas station. Should work out pretty good. Oh, and a note on this material. I'm not positive. I did read some places online that gas doesn't react well with copper. So I am going to coat the inside of this with PRR 15 gas tank sealer, so that the gas that's stored in here will be fresh when I need it. I'm not going to worry about it coming into contact with this nozzle here at time of use, because it'll be just exposed to it for such a short time period. It shouldn't affect it. But storing it in here, I think it would be best if I coat it with the PRR 15, which is partly why I'm taking acetone to clean this out, so that I get a good bond with the PRR 15. So that's the next step. So this is the bracket. I riveted on that backing plate, which is like a 1/8 inch thick, or yeah, I think it's 1/8 inch thick steel. Welded a couple bolts to it, used some split collars, and that's how I'm going to mount it to the bike. So it'll be nice and sturdy, and yeah, that should work out pretty good.